Hello, good people, once again. The February, I always hate saying that month because there's a brew in it. It's not February, it's February. Anyway, the February 2025 maps have been released for the United States. And what you're looking at right here is a new V44, but with a new V40 UI. So if you want to put that UI on this guy, I have a video about that. But I've also done something else here, is I have made what I have termed the super gas point of interest database, which you can download right now, and I'm going to show you what it's all about, and then you can see the map in action here too. So yeah, we are here. Oh wait, let me get rid of this first. Let me check. Okay, yeah. Now before showing this, how to install it, this POI database. It's one file. It's about 1.5 megabyte, I think, in size. Over 10,000 locations. We'll get to that in a second. Excuse me. But the way that you do it is that on older models like this one, you plug it into the computer, the Nuvi, and you look for the folder Garmin. And then inside the Garmin folder will be another folder called POI, point of interest. If it is not there, then you just make the folder POI. And then all you have to do is drop the GPI, Garmin points of interest, drop the GPI file in there, and then that's it. Now to access those points of interest, on this particular model, it is where to and then extras. But if you have a newer model, like a 2597 and above, it would be where to and then categories, and then scroll down a bit and you'll see custom POIs. It would be there. And I believe that's how it would go all the way up even to the DriveSmart 76. So for old boys like this, where to extras. For older boys, even ones older than this, I believe, and when I'm talking that, I'm talking Nuvi 360, something like that. I believe, if I remember correctly, that it's where to favorites POIs or custom POIs. I think it's there. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't confirm that, but believe me, it will be there. So anyway, for the majority of you, it would be where to categories, then custom POIs, which you may have to scroll down to find. So anyway, in here, now the ones up here, these are mine, but the ones that you will see are these 4 categories. I have put in 7-Eleven locations, Buc-ee's locations, QuikTrip, and RaceTrac, which is why I call it super gas, because these are all fuel filler stations. These are ones that I cared to do. I had to pull this information from a variety of sources. I had to do a lot of editing to fix grammar errors, spelling errors. Yeah, there was a lot. I do not guarantee the accuracy of these points of interest. They should be mostly accurate, mostly, but I don't guarantee it. Now, for each one of these, oh, one other thing, I have optimized these to load as fast as possible on any Nuvi Drive or DriveSmart model, because what will happen is that sometimes you'll load in one of these, and especially when you scroll down, like you'll notice when I'm scrolling, oh yeah, nice and smooth, no problem. But if it has extended information in it, especially on older models like this, and when using OpenStreetMap, it may be choppy, but not here. This is nice and smooth. Anyway, let's show the 7-Eleven one first. And I have included, when we zoom in, the icon. Hey, that looks kind of nice. And yes, you will see these icons when the map is zoomed in close. When it's zoomed far out, no you won't. But when it's, if there is a station like close to a turn or something like that and the map zooms in, then you will see it. I'll do the Buc-ee's one last. So here's QuikTrip. And by the way, yes, it has the extended information with all the, this is a trade-off of the fast loading. You have to tap one more screen to see all the address and phone number information and such. So anyway, let's zoom in on this one. And there's a little icon for QuikTrip. And we'll look at the one for RaceTrac. Again, if I tap this, you see all the relevant information. And zoom in. There's RaceTrac. And finally, we will do Buc-ee's. Because the beaver that they use is my favorite logo out of this set. I like that little dude. I even have a mug, a coffee mug, with that beaver on it. Yes, I do. I like that beaver that much. And let's go here.
Turn left on Main Street.
Okay. So let me mute that. There's another thing about these maps is that you'll notice I did not do a special edition run of this because I didn't have to. What I did here is I thought about it and I said, you know, why don't I just make this compatible with all of them instead of having two separate releases? Makes it easier for me because I'm lazy. But it's more convenient for you as well. So what that means is that these maps are now compatible all the way back to the Nuvi 200. And I have some notes on this, so I'll just say them to you now, because there are some people that run models even older than this. Why does it stop at the Nuvi 200 and not earlier? Okay, the Nuvi 200, released 2007, does have the ability to do a couple of things that prior models did not do. One of them is the ability to support multiple map images, because this is 2, east and west of the United States. And it also lifted a self-imposed cap that Garmin put in the software. So instead of having a 2 gigabyte cap, it is a 4 gigabyte cap per file. Now what happens is that if you were to use this or try to use this on, say, a Nuvi 360 or a 660 or a 680, which came out before the Nuvi 200, even though it's a 300 and it's the older model compared to the 200. I don't know why Garmin named it that way, but that is the case. And you put these on the SD card and tried to load it, it would not work, because the Nuvi 360 and I'll just say the 300 series and the 600 series will only recognize one supplemental map image file on an SD card. That cannot exceed 2 gigabyte in size. And yes, that's a problem. Now there is a workaround for this. It's a really wonky workaround, but it is possible. In order to get, I won't say all, but most of the United States data into a Nuvi 300 or 600 series, it requires doing the following. You use the Basecamp version, which I am still offering for download, so you have to use Basecamp. In the internal memory of a 300 or 600 series, there will be the original map called gmap-rom.img. You download that off the device, and then you have it backed up just in case. Then you delete it, so to reclaim the space. Then what you do is you send as much data from the map install software, which is in Basecamp, as much map as you can over to the internal memory of the 300 or 600 series, which will probably be around, I'm guessing, 1 gigabyte to 1.5 gigabyte. Right. This will create a file called gmap-supp.img on that device. You need to take that file and rename it to gmap-rom.img. That's step 1, or step 2 by this point. I've already forgotten. After that, you send the rest of the data, or as much as you can, over to the SD card as gmap-supp.img, so that you have half the data in the internal memory and the other half, or should I say the first third of the data in the internal memory and the other 2/3, or as much as you can fit, on the SD card. But on the SD card, you have to remember that the file cannot exceed 2 gigabyte in size. Okay, so the most data you can possibly fit on one of those 300 or 600 series is around 3 to 3.5 gigs. So that's why I say you can mostly fit all the United States data on it, but you have to split it across 2 files. One internal as gmap-rom.img and one as to the SD card as gmap-supp.img. Yeah, it's really wonky, but the point is, yes, it's doable. And this is why I say the earliest this will work with my maps is the Nuvi 200. So, because from 2007 onward, okay, you've got USB 2.0, which is nice, and you also have that 2 gigabyte limit lifted, which was bumped to 4 gigabyte. And if you were ever wondering why is there a 4 gigabyte limit, it is because of a FAT32 file system. FAT32 file system will only recognize up to a maximum per file size of 4 gigabyte. Right. And this is also the reason why you cannot use a memory card that is beyond 32 gig in a Nuvi Drive or DriveSmart, because that's the limit of FAT32. If you go to 64 gigabyte and above, you go from SDHC to SDXC. That's a different system. And I know there are going to be some guys that say, well, wait a minute. You can force FAT32 format in a 64 gig memory card. Yes, that's true. The Garmin will not recognize it. It just won't do it. Oh, you can try. It won't work. And there are some guys that swear up and I made it work. No, you didn't. No, you did not, sir. I guarantee you did not do it. It has to be SDHC, which is, I believe, from 4 gigabyte to 32 gigabyte. This is why I've said in previous videos that you have to use an 8 gig, 16 gig, or 32 gig card. It is specifically because of that FAT32 limitation. So anyway, there's all that, right? So now I have the maps that are compatible across Nuvi 200 from 2007 all the way up to the DriveSmart 76, 86, 66. Okay, that's great. And there is the Super Gas POI database. Okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, one more note. Okay. The only way that these maps would, assuming you have a Nuvi 200 or newer, the only way these maps would not work now is if you put it in, put the map image files in the wrong folder. Now, on the majority of Nuvis, Drives, and DriveSmarts, the map files reside in the Garmin folder, which is why they also reside in the Garmin folder on the SD card. If it doesn't work, then what you do is that, now I'm assuming you're going to be installing these to a memory card, to an SD card. Let's just say you copy the files over to SD into a folder called Garmin. You click in the card, turn on the Garmin, it doesn't work. Or it powers on, but it doesn't recognize the maps. Okay, what do I do? In that case, you make a folder called map, M-A-P, just as it sounds. Then move the files from the Garmin folder on the memory card to map. And then restart the Garmin again, and then it will work. Do I guarantee this? Yeah. Yes. So, actually, you know what? I'm going to go back on. I don't guarantee a thing. I'm doing this for free. I'm not getting paid for this. So it's like, if it works, great. If it doesn't, well. But anyway, so February 2025 maps and a Supergas POI database for free. Go and get it.